Hello and welcome to 10 on Tuesday with your team here at Interlace Communications, helping you to better your business. We are working on our making a lead funnel, and last week was just the introduction to it. And I'm back from the remote office and back in the office here at Interlace Communications with Casey Gray. And we're going to talk about one of our clients and actually show a little bit about what a lead funnel can look like. What we're going to do is we're going to pop on over to show you the parts of our part two, which is the buyer's journey. And the reason that I include this in the making of a lead funnel is that I've done a lot of research on lead funnels to see what other people talk about, and they talk about all of the parts of a lead funnel and what to do and the making of it, but they never take into consideration the buyer's journey. So we're going to provide you in this handout that we have for you on 10ontuesday.com. We are going to provide you not only with an example of what one could look like and say, yeah, this is okay, I can figure this out, but also provide you with a worksheet that you yourself can create those steps that a prospect, possible future client, to a client could look like. So we will be back in just a second. So what you're looking at is the first page of it, where it talks about you catching the attention of a possible client. They then have an interest in working with you, a desire to work with you, and then they take action. So part one, we talked about the different steps. One was identifying your buyer's journey. 2 is to build a strong landing page. 3 is to create the value-added creative. 4, create your email autoresponders. And 5, prepare social media posts. We're actually going to look at, like I said, a buyer's journey from one of our customers. So that's the first thing to do as you construct your lead magnet or lead funnel. So this is a sheet that you're going to see it at the end. You can ask yourself these questions. How does a client find me? And what are the steps that are required? And if you notice, I highlighted 1 to 7. Before the internet, it was that you just needed to take about 7 steps before you hired a client. You'd call them up on the phone, you talk to them, introduce yourself, maybe meet them for lunch and go from there. What has changed it from 7 to 21 and then some is the internet. Now it's that getting to know you a little bit more and finding you on LinkedIn, finding you on Facebook, and going from there. Okay, we're going to look at WKNS Railroad. They are a small tourist railroad that's located in Berks County, Pennsylvania, and what they offer is all sorts of special events, and one of their special events is their Easter Bunny Express. This happens to be a post that we just placed January 10th that talks about the event that's going to be happening in April. We're not even ready with the ticketing of this, but we're getting it into the mind. So that is our first post for this one. But what I did was I went back and I looked at, sorry about that. I went back and I looked at what we did last year. And this has, and I mentioned that both events, it's actually 8 trains, 200 tickets for each train, and we were sold out of the event. So what did it look like? What I did was I went back to their Facebook and also to what we did in emails and looked at that. And the steps we took to build it, first of all, we created the ticketing. We created a single post on the website that led them to the ticketing. And that's a Casey thing. Mm-hmm. She works on that. And she does that for all of them. We then, in Facebook, create an event so that a person can go to the event and click on the ticketing. And we also collected emails from buyers in the past so we can include them in what we call email blasts, but they're not really blasts because we're sending to them in an individual basis. So then we looked at how many posts were published on Facebook just for the Easter Bunny Express. We started last year, January 31st, and kept on going. This only shows 8. And what I included here was also what our reach was, how many people we reached, as well as the engagement. And the engagement is people who click on, well, what is an engagement on Facebook?
It is people who click on the post, and if there's links in there and they click on the links, that's part of the engagement. There's also if the person, likes, loves, all of that.
The emojis.
Mm-hmm. That's an engagement, as well as leaving comments on the post and sharing the post.
Oh, yeah. All of that stuff. Yeah. So as you can see, there's some where there's a lot of engagement and others where there's not. You can see is that it took 23 times for us to sell out of the Easter Bunny Express. And a couple of the really cool things that you can do with the email is number 11, as you can see, is that we emailed our past customers, and we reached not only those past customers on the email, but we also reached 1,300 people on Facebook, because what we can do is from Robley, take it over and do, is it called social share over there? I believe so.
Sure.
I
don't know exactly what it's called.
We're not sure what Robley calls it. I know Constant Contact calls it social share. And what it does is if you look at their March 15th post, you can actually see that it came from Robley. So that is a nice feature when using email systems like Robley and Constant Contact. They offer that added value of allowing an email to show up as a post, and you can use that. That happened for number 11 and number 17, where we were reaching out through our email systems. So it took them 23 touches to be able to sell out of 8 train rides with 200 seats sold. So that was
per train.
Yes, per train. So I mentioned down below that the overall reach was over 54,000 people, and 5,000 people engaged in it or reacted to it. This is a lot of work, but it's like, how much of this can be scheduled? How much of this can be automated? Pretty much of it can be automated and gotten ready even ahead of time, so that you can schedule it. You can schedule it, your emails, you can schedule your posts to do this. So the 7, when you look back on what it used to be, let me go back to that page. The 7, that was a lot of work prior to the internet. This is still work. You have to think through all of those posts and what you're going to say. But a lot can be automated, a lot can be repeated throughout. And I noticed some of the posts that we did, we used the same pictures. You want to keep that branding and that top of mind. So now it's your turn. And what we'd like you to do is go to 10 on Tuesday, 10-on-tuesday.com. And this will be available to you to think through your own buyer's journey. Choose the best client that you work with now. Write their name and think about when they first started working with you. What did that look like? And I gave you 2 examples of, where would you put that? I included not only, in this case, WKNS really concentrates on reaching people not face to face, but in this case, your business might be one where you're going to use networking, you're going to do all sorts of things with, in the case, I put a networking event for a chamber, those types of things. So want to have you look at that, and we included 2 sheets, and then of course at the bottom, figure out how many times did you identify the steps, how many can be automated, and do you have the tools in place? And if you need help at all with building out your buyer's journey, we do this on a regular basis with clients and help them to identify the tools they need to be able to build their business. We hope that today's buyer's journey exercise was helpful and showed you an example of one that can be automated. Just to mention about the events on Facebook and even events on your Get Your Business Online. In the case of, say you are an accountant, and we know tax day is coming up. You can actually, even though you don't have events, you could actually use that as an event and say, tax day is coming up. So April 15th, you put that out there so that when a person is doing a search of, I want to work on taxes, up comes your event. So have some fun with it. For those who are business to business people, and find ways in which to create events for yourself. So we hope that's a good tip for you. Next week, we're going to look at your landing page and what that should look like for your lead funnel. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.